welcome to Banter Such. I'm Brando.
And I'm Owen.
And today we are talking about Blade!
You know, honestly, we know it's a vampire trilogy. We kind of hinted at it in the vampire episode of our Spooktober. And Brando and I, we just didn't want Spooktober to end.
Yeah.
So we found a way to continue Spooktober, but also talk about another movie franchise.
Also, Joko was going to be here, and he wanted to do it,
Yes.
and then he wasn't able to be here. Not his fault.
That
We were
guy
like-
is just too busy for his own good. He has so many great things going on in his life.
But I watched all three of these movies like in 2 days, and I took so many notes, and I was like, look, I'm so prepared for this. We have to do this episode with or without
Joko. Yep, it's happening.
But it's just me and you today.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to it.
we're good. All right, let's get into some BS.
So before we talk about one of the best superhero movie franchises,
Oh, you're going to call it that?
one of, for
All
sure.
right. All right.
I
all
mean,
right.
two of the movies are fantastic.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I got to get into some stuff before we head into that, though.
Yes. First of all, we want to let you know about the amazing merch at theheliosnetwork.com. We've got Wasted Truth shirts. We have Banter and Such stickers. We got Wasted Truth stickers. And we got Owen and Brando pins. We got just some fun merch there that helps us to offset some of the cost of hosting fees for our show here. So check that out at theheliosnetwork.com.
And of course, you can support the show on our Patreon. The link is in the show descriptions. It helps support us and helps us keep doing other things and expand the network and get into some new stuff in the future, which you always are hearing us gush about. And things are finally coming to fruition. Also, it gets you access to our bonus banter, which is our weekly bonus episode, which is about 20, 30 minutes long that we go on about
tangents. Just
whatever we want to talk about. Sometimes it's a subject. Sometimes it's, hey, what's the latest conspiracy theory?
it's even more off topic than our actual episodes.
And as well, if you can't support the show monetarily, please rate us 5 stars, like, follow, subscribe, ring that bell, take that dong, and just follow us any way you can on all social media platforms and podcasting notes. Anyways,
now we're able to talk about the
let's
topic.
get into Blade.
Dude,
Okay.
the Blade movies with Wesley Snipes, just so everyone's clear, the like early 2000s
And
movies.
as well, we are talking about this too because the new Blade movies are going to be coming out next year, I want to say.
Is it that soon?
I think it's next year.
No way it's that soon.
Well, I'll
we
Google
got-
it while you talk.
Well, first of all, you called them superhero movies, and I'm going to call point of contention on that.
Oh, is this an episode of Master and Debaters?
Yeah, I was just on there recently. We recorded the episode.
I liked that for the intro that yours like, I'm Brando, and there's like just silence, and then Puck goes, and I'm Owen. I was like, oh my God.
It felt like it needed to be there.
Yeah.
Everyone's
so
got to
good.
check out Master and Debaters, our new show. It's amazing. But no, so I have a friend who he is all about like, this is the first big superhero blockbuster movie, and this kicked off the superhero wave. And I disagree. I don't know how to explain it, but I just don't feel like these are superhero movies. Like, it's not the same as X-Men or Superman or Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Like, the Blade movies are vampire action movies.
So before I completely and utterly destroy you in this debate, the new Blade movie with Marshall Ali comes out in 2024.
Comics character.
Why is he not a superhero?
I don't know, man. I mean, he even has superpowers, you know?
Okay.
So I'll give you all that. I don't know. I don't know why. It just doesn't.
I mean, it doesn't follow the format of superhero movies that we're used to because the first Blade movie came out in 1998.
Yeah.
So this is, 2 years before X-Men, 4 years before Spider-Man. I think the only other one, and I keep joking about it constantly, is the David Hasselhoff.
Oh gosh,
Captain Fury.
Or Nick Fury.
Nick Fury.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this was definitely the first one where they take comic books serious. I mean, the only other thing I could think of before this would be the Christopher Reeve Superman movies.
Yeah. There's a
But
Captain America movie as well.
yeah, but even then they didn't really
There
take.
was that Thor versus Hulk.
Yeah, see, none of that was comic accurate or
No,
taking the comic
definitely
seriously. I mean, the Christopher Reeve Superman movies were, but it didn't kick off a big movement. Whereas the Blade movies, they did take this is a comic book character and they took him seriously.
Okay, so would you say that this kind of laid the foundation or paved the road for X-Men and Spider-Man then?
See, that's what a lot of people argue, and probably yes. It just, and I don't know why. It just doesn't feel like, and maybe it's because there's no origin
Blade,
story.
And Blade is not a good guy.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he is like an anti-hero kind of.
Oh, for sure.
But having said all of that, I will say I love these movies. These movies are great movies. They are, and here's why. They are cool, man.
Yes.
The rule of cool is like all over these movies. And anyone who wants to talk shit about these movies, no, you are wrong. These movies are so cool. Even the bad ones are cool.
Okay, well, we'll get into the third one, but
we both know what you're
100%. 100%. The third one is atrocious, and it's so bad that even Jessica Biel and Ryan Reynolds couldn't save it.
Oh, yeah, but it's still cool as hell.
I mean, 100%. So here's my thing. This, I think it did pave the road. I mean, Wesley Snipes as Blade started the movement, right? He was all black leather with a black trench coat, and I'm not talking about The Matrix.
Well, this is that era of the black trench coat. So this is the Matrix.
Sunglasses at all times.
Oh, yes. The and so it's funny now because I think people look back on it now and it's so kind of a time of, but like everything was, I mean, even if you saw the movie Equilibrium with Christian Bale.
Oh, another great one.
You're
my gosh.
Like, yeah, everything about the trench coat, the black trench coat, like so many movies, and not even, we only remember the big mega hits like The Matrix, but there were so many other movies that were like
Equilibrium
that.
was 2002 as well.
Equilibrium is another amazing
great one
movie.
if you haven't watched it. But man, like watching these,
but that techno, playing techno,
I was just about to go
while
into
you
that
kung fu fight.
Okay,
yes.
So these movies are definitely, they have that '90s kind of nostalgic feel to it.
Oh yeah,
but they hold up. I mean, honestly,
I think they do. Man.
The CGI in it honestly isn't great, but that was 24 years ago.
Yeah,
Brando, let that sink in.
I know, right?
24 years ago when you were 68.
Yes, that's right. I remembered. I just retired.
You just retired,
and for my retirement party, we had gone out to celebrate.
Yeah, and you got a discount at the movie theater. You got your senior discount.
I remember when Blade was a comic book.
But man, like it's so good, and yeah, that opening scene is, I would say, is still to this day one of the best action sequences.
Okay, so the opening scene of the first Blade movie is absolutely amazing. This is how you open a movie. So it's one of my problems with so many movies where the opening, you have to, like, they go too fast.
Yeah.
And it gets into the action too soon. It's like, you got to let it breathe. You got to let us get into you got to, like, get us in the mood before, like, we come, man. And it's like, this movie, it builds it, and it has that techno music behind it, and it's so, and he's going deeper and deeper into this underground techno party, whatever, this rave, and he gets there, and it's like looks super cool. Everyone's having a great time, and the music just keeps building.
And it's such an iconic. I could play that song.
Yes,
and everyone would be like, "Oh yeah, that's the intro to Blade." Yeah,
and then that scene where the DJ, and he's got those lights on his like headphones or something, and he just looks up, and his lights shine up, and then like the music at the same time swells, and the beat drops, and then the blood shoots out.
Oh my gosh,
it is, and then everyone goes nuts, and you see everyone's fangs. That scene is crazy.
Because
you're like, oh shit.
It really sets the mood because this is still considered a horror movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that is like, you see it from the perspective of that human who just like, he's like with this hot chick. He thinks he's about to get lucky. He's going to a club. They're going to do ecstasy and fuck and blah, blah, blah. No.
Yeah, you think this whole time you're with him and you're getting into this exclusive elite party that no one knows about. No, dude, you're a victim, man.
He is going to this club.
They're about to eat you.
He is the tasty treat that they're all going to consume.
Yeah, and then like, plus it's the world building because this place is full of people. So now dude, they're vampires, and this isn't Interview with a Vampire.
They have their own culture.
Yeah, they have their own raves, their own clubs. They got a system where they have blood shooting out. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole world building thing to it.
Blood orgy.
Yes, it's a big blood orgy, and in that one scene, it lets you know like, oh, there's a fully thriving vampire underground underneath the world that we know about, and that was cool as hell, man.
So then you were like watching it, like this is great, and like okay, so where's this going? And then just out of nowhere, the dude is like the human is like backing away and just like runs into Blade.
And he's just standing there like a
and then
statue.
You have like I don't know, like 200 vampires.
Oh yeah.
And all of them just
surrounded.
Like,
he's surrounded,
and all of them are back away. It's a Daywalker. The Daywalker. It's him.
And they're terrified of him.
Yes. And then the action just fucking ensues. And Wesley Snipes. I did not know this, but Wesley Snipes is like highly trained in multiple martial arts.
Yeah, he's an actual real life martial arts master.
Yeah, like black belt in multiple different things.
Yeah.
And one of my old buddies from California years ago, we were talking about this, where Wesley Snipes is so good because his movement is so efficient and clean.
Yeah, yeah.
Like how he just like he kicks somebody and then goes straight down into a posture. There's no like lingering. He's fast and efficient, and it makes for such an interesting martial arts action movie to watch because of him.
Yeah, I mean they even had to have him slow down a little bit because some of his stuff is just so fast you can't even like capture it on. And because his moves, he's got these little micro movements where, like you said, like where one move leads into the next move. You know, he's not just doing a punch and then doing a second punch. It's like, no, that punch leads into this elbow, which leads into this twist. And it's and the action, that's another thing, is like the action in this is fantastic, really man.
Yeah, they did they made sure that this was going to be a good action movie.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of just relying on it like, oh, look, hey, he's a vampire, so he has like superpowers and blah, 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 blah. But in that first scene, one of my favorite things he does, so I used to fence in college. Like,
that's cool. Yeah, I think I knew that. Yeah,
and stuff like that. So like I've done a lot of like sword play. And one of the cool things he does when he first draws his sword, what he does is he puts it on the ground and like circles around him.
Yeah.
And this was actually a very common practice in like medieval times, because what that is he's drawn the line in the sand, so he knows the reach of his sword.
Oh,
that's what that is. So like it looks fucking cool, right? Because he's like drawing that line through the blood-soaked ground.
Yeah.
But what he's actually doing is knowing the distance. So he knows if someone steps over that line, they're in range that he can attack them.
And again, what that is it's this cool scene. And the thing about this movie, especially the first one, but all three of them, is there's so much posing done by Wesley Snipes. Like, and he poses, and it makes Blade look so imposing. It makes him look so intimidating, but also like, and then now he brings out his sword, and it scares you. Like it like you would not want to fight this guy, but like it looks so cool. And like the movie knows how to linger on that. The movie knows like, dude, let us linger on that shot of him just standing there, and he's not moving.
Nope.
He's just posed, and it lingers. The shot lingers, and then bah, 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 and then real fast action, man.
Yeah, and
it's so cool.
One of the things I love about this too is how vampires die. They like burn up in a crisp.
Oh yeah.
Whenever they die, it's just like shh and incinerated.
Yeah,
like that's such a because like
embers.
Yeah, because like how else could they justify vampires existing without people actually knowing about them?
And they even mentioned that in the third movie, how killing humans is tricky because you have a body.
Yeah.
Whereas killing vampires, it's all dust.
It's all dust.
So, and he goes through this whole. I mean, but you also get introduced to his arsenal of weapons.
Oh,
so
man.
One, he's he's strong. He's a superhero, but also like he's got a silver sword. He's got a silver like little thing that he throws around.
Oh yeah,
like
I forgot what those are called.
But he's got guns and stuff. Like, I mean, the dude is armed to the teeth.
Yeah. So my favorite is he has that shotgun, and it has the stakes as well.
Yes!
So he's like shooting and whatnot. My favorite thing is eventually he runs out of ammo, and there's a vampire running away. So he like spins it around in his hand and throws it to trip a vampire.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, that's fucking dope.
It's just so many cool moves, and it just lets it be cool. Like that when he's in that one. round room. It
Oh,
almost
yeah.
looks like a big shower room, and he's standing with his back against the wall, and he just throws it, and it just his boomerang thing just circles around him, and it kills like 9 vampires standing in a circle around. And it's like, is that realistic?
And he smirks.
No,
He smirks.
Yeah,
right before he throws it.
and you can tell he's not in over his head. He's not overwhelmed. He's having fun. He's clearly in control of the situation, and all of this to show like the Daywalker is a monster to the monsters.
Yes.
And that is so cool, man.
He's the one that terrifies them.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a great way to put it. He's the monster to the monsters. He is the boogeyman. He is Baba Yaga.
And like I mentioned this earlier, but there's no origin story.
Yeah.
So in this movie, he's already established. He's already and they don't waste time with that. There's like a little bit of flashback.
There's like 3 lines of dialogue
where they explain it.
Yeah.
And that's all you need.
Mhm.
Like his mother was pregnant with him, and she was bitten, and she started to turn, and that's when she gave birth to him, and that's why he's a hybrid.
Yes.
And that's all you need.
That's all.
And then he grew up, and then Whistler was an original vampire hunter when he was younger. He found Wesley Snipes or Blade on the streets, and he realized what he was, and he trained him.
Yeah.
And that's the whole origin story. That's the whole thing. And it's like, that's cool.
That's all I need.
And let's get back to the fighting.
Yeah, I don't need more. Because this is not a drama.
Yeah.
This is not some like character driven story.
Nope.
No, I'm like, I just want to see Blade fuck shit up.
Yep.
Please, can we stop with the talking and go back to him fucking shit up?
So, like, okay, that's what's beautiful about this movie is, one, there's no message in this movie.
Yeah.
There's no message. There's no higher meaning. There's no one's trying to communicate anything to you. There's nothing about, like, 2, there's no a deep character stuff in this. Like, the characters are great. You enjoy them, but there's no like, oh, we're going to add extra depth to it. It's like, no, he's just a stone cold vampire hunter. And Whistler is too. And, you know, they're almost the same character, you know?
Yeah, and one of the things I do enjoy is they did explore some things, but it's not like the typical day stuff. There's finally a couple minutes into the movie after Blade goes on the murder spree in the club, they finally have, like, you see the vampire council.
Oh, yeah.
Talking. And they're talking about Blade because they fear him and know they can't, like, kill him. It's, like, impossible because he's immune to sunlight. He's immune to silver, is what it is. But they're talking, and then they're like, we need Deacon Frost, which is the main villain of the movie.
Yeah.
But all these guys on the Vampire Council are purebloods. They were born vampires.
Which is so cool. And he was turned. Deacon
Frost is turned.
So he's less than.
He's like a half-breed.
Yeah.
And that's what they call him, and treat him like that. So there's like, there's
like racism among the vampires.
But they don't go down this like rabbit hole.
Nope.
You understand in the few moments of dialogue that there is, and that is what drives Deacon Frost.
Yeah.
Because he's being treated like a half-breed when he knows he's better than all of them.
Yeah.
And so what does he do? He kills the Vampire Council.
He kills them all.
Yeah.
Which is like the world building from that scene too, where you're just like, there's so much world building in this movie that's not explained to you.
Yeah.
But the fact that they show that council, you're like, wait, what? So, like, do you guys, like, do politicians know that you exist?
Yeah.
Is there like a hidden laws that are written of like a peace treaty between humans and vampires? Is there like, but like it hints at all this stuff, and it's like, dude, that's cool, man.
And it doesn't pander to us.
No.
It gives us the questions, and eventually, you know, in Blade 2 and 3, you get some of the answers, but it's even then some of the answers like, okay, cool, understood. I didn't like. But it doesn't like be like, hey, look, we told you. Hey, hi. Do you see what we're doing? We're explaining the plot and substance to you. Hey, are you paying attention? That's a lot of modern movies.
That's the thing about especially the first Blade movie, is it knows what it is, and it keeps it. They're like, look, here's the character of Blade. And he doesn't have this character arc and this big thing. He's just like an interesting character. He doesn't like change at all. No. But he's just this cool guy who is just this cold-blooded vampire killer. You like the relationship between him and Whistler, like his mentor.
Yeah,
that's
Whistler,
all cool.
Whistler is a very interesting character. I very much liked him.
And then you have Deacon, who's like, hey, fuck you guys, you're not better than me.
Yeah.
Which is like that's a perfect late 90s Gen X guy where it's like, fuck you, you're not better than me. You know?
And even what's interesting is Deacon Frost this entire time, even though he's a half-breed, he's the only true believer of the vampire god.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they've lost their way.
And so the vampire, so he is, the whole entire point, Deacon Frost is trying to resurrect the vampire god, the blood god.
Yeah, yeah.
And he gives Blade the option to join.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's like, hey, like he has a final like moment with him like in the sun where he's just wearing like 18 layers of sunscreen.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they've created vampire sunscreen.
Oh, that was perfect.
But it's like he has that choice where he's like, hey, like I'm trying to rebuild this.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is cattle. And he's like looking at all the humans, right?
Yes.
And it's like, we're better than them. We are the next evolution.
Oh, yes.
Join
so cool.
us. And I'm like, dude, like this is like the Magneto, like Xavier thing going on, right? Not Xavier, Xavier. But like, and that's one of the cool things I like about that dynamic, right? It's not, like we keep gushing about it, but it's like it's not going over the top.
Yeah.
With all the explanations, he's like, oh, that's.
But even
cool.
In that,
I like that. Yeah.
Even in that scene where you have the hero and the villain with their showdown in the park, right? You have this, and they have this great dialogue. You know, it's wonderful to have a scene with the hero and the villain where they have this dialogue between each other. They have this, and that's the scene in the park, right in the middle of the movie. And it's just this cool scene, and the way that it ends is so fucking cool because Deacon Frost grabs a little girl and it all happens real fast. He just grabs a girl and throws her into the street. And like that's how he gets away, man.
Yep.
Blade turns around to go catch this girl. And then like it just shows like this dude is fucking cold-blooded, man.
Yeah.
Like,
but Blade, and it shows like the humanity of Blade, right? Because like the entire point is like Blade, for lack of a better term, because fuck you, Twilight is vegan or vegetarian or whatever the vampires in Twilight call themselves.
Well,
because
he doesn't drink blood. He can though.
He can drink blood, but he doesn't want to.
Yeah,
because he is trying to be better than them. So there's like a serum that Whistler came up with
that like holds off his
the thirst,
full transport.
But it's not real blood from humans.
No, it's just a serum. It's just like a medicine.
But his body is rejecting it more and more.
Yeah. Which brings in the female lead of this movie, who we haven't mentioned yet. I think her name is Karen, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yes, it is.
But so what's interesting about her is she's the female lead of the movie. So she's
a hematologist.
She's a doctor. She's a blood doctor, a hematologist who he saves. And she doesn't turn. She gets bitten and then survives the turn because he gives her the thing to reject it.
No, she comes up with it herself.
That's right. That's right.
She invents
because
it.
she's a blood. That's right. Based on his serum.
Yes.
But the thing is, and here's what I love about this: there's no romance between her and Blade.
No.
And the thing, so it happens very quickly that he saves her. She happens to be valuable and of use to him, so she becomes an ally. But they don't, like, movies do this where, like, they fucking fall in love. You've only known each other for 3 days. You know what I mean? None of that. We're not even friends. She's just an ally. You know what I mean?
Well, like
but she becomes a legit ally next to him. You know?
Yeah, and as well, they like use her as bait in it.
Oh yeah, well he does. Yeah,
but it's like, but it ends up working out. And then one of the funny things you say that is like, there's no love interest. Originally, they were supposed to fuck.
Really?
Blade and Karen were supposed to fuck. Then in Blade 2, there was supposed to be a love scene between Blade and the vampire princess chick, which I can't remember her name right now.
Oh yeah, like
and then in Blade 3, Jessica Biel's character,
he was supposed to have. I did see that.
All 3 movies, there was supposed to be a love scene, and funny enough, Wesley Snipes, every single one, he's like, no,
really,
yeah.
That's like the reverse Adam Sandler. It's like, but it wasn't. It would not make sense. So here's a bit is part of it with Halo. It's the first thing that comes to mind because Master Chief is another character like Blade.
Yeah,
he's stone cold. He's Spartan, for lack of a better word. And he doesn't fall in love. Okay, Blade wouldn't really fall in love unless it would be like something like unique. Master Chief doesn't fall in love. And if you have a scene, say for example, you make a show and there's 10 episodes, and in one of those episodes, Master Chief falls in love with someone and takes his helmet off and becomes vulnerable to this woman, then you don't know the fucking character, man.
Is this This sounds oddly familiar.
Yes. Listen up. Whatever it was it Paramount Plus?
It's Paramount Plus did Halo, and it is so atrociously bad. The writers even said that they didn't play the video games or read any of the novels. They wanted to create their own thing. Yeah. So it's F you to source material.
But that's an example of like you take this character and then you're trying to add a layer of depth to him. And by doing that, you undo the character.
100%.
And they do that in Halo. They do that in so many shows and movies, but they didn't do that in Blade. They just kept him as this stone cold guy.
And to counter yours, and movies that would say that have done the opposite, they've done what Blade does and kept the character true, like Sicario.
Okay.
Yeah. With why can't I think of his name?
Benicio del Toro.
Yeah. Another one. John Wick, obviously, is another one. That's
John Wick is a good example. Yeah. Like, don't try to make him more than he is, because sometimes the most interesting characters are very simple.
I mean, Benicio del Toro said when he read the script for Sicario, there was he had a lot more dialogue, and he went up to the director and was just like, "Hey," I think it's James Mangold.
Okay.
It says Sicario. He's like, we should cut 80% of my lines.
Was that not David Fincher?
Oh gosh,
that's gonna mess me up now. And I think it was David Fincher.
I'm googling it.
Yeah.
It was directed by. We were both wrong. Denis Villeneuve.
Oh, that's right. I should have known.
We talked about that. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Anyways,
he's amazing.
But man, to get back onto Blade's point, because I want to move on to the second one too, is even with this, you see the downfall of him. Eventually, he does go to the vampire lair because Deacon Frost is really about to resurrect the vampire god.
Oh yeah.
But he's you can't. Whistler's you can't go because they need your blood. They need your blood to awaken the god. But he's no, I still have to stop them. And there's a big twist that his mother's still alive. And they use that against him. But I mean, all I want to talk about is that final action scene when he gets up and just fucks up the entire vampire lair.
Yeah, and all these dudes come at him, and he's not huffing and puffing and bleeding everywhere and he barely makes it. No, he's still the same. Blade in the last scene is the blade in the first scene. He draws a line in the sand with a sword.
Yep.
And then he just effortlessly fucks everybody up, and it's so satisfying to watch.
Yeah,
man.
It's not like he needed to evolve or believe in himself. He's no, he's just the badass he's always been. And now he's going to kill the vampire blood god.
And there's never a scene where he, in the privacy of his own room, he finally does break down and cry about all this stuff. No, he is who he is. And at the end of the movie, he just won. That's the only thing. He just was better than the bad guys. So he won,
And it was set that up. That's the entire point of the movie. He, like you said, he is the monster to the monsters.
Yeah. And he just keeps going, and they can't stop him.
Now, I want to talk about my favorite movie of the trilogy.
Okay.
Is Blade 2.
Blade 2. Okay. So I have to say, Blade 1 is my favorite.
Okay.
And I have to highly recommend that to everyone.
Yes.
So everyone who's listening to this, if you've never seen the Blade movies, at the very least,
watch the first one.
Watch
the first one.
But I have friends who say the same thing about Blade 2.
Okay. So Brandon and I have been talking about this idea for a topic, and originally we were going to do it today's episode, but with us wanting to continue Spooktober, and as well, this topic is probably going to take the most time to research for Brando and I, was what is the greatest sequel ever made, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where the sequel is actually better than the original. So
we're going to do an episode on that. I think you've got a lot of good ideas.
Now, here's my thing. This movie, Blade 2, I would put into this category where the sequel is better than the original.
Okay, yeah.
Now, here's a couple reasons why. First of all, one of my favorite directors of all time did this movie, and it's Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah. So you know who the first director was for the first one? No, don't look him up.
No, I can't remember.
Because it's funny. He was fucking nobody. He went on after this to do League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh, God.
And then stopped forever. This guy was just a literal nobody who did this movie. And the second one was Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Who is one of the greatest directors out there.
Okay, so I'm looking it up now. Stephen Norrington is this guy's name, the original director of the first Blade.
Yeah.
He is primarily a special effects guy.
Yeah.
And for some reason, he decided to let him
Who knows?
Direct.
Who knows why?
Death Machine, Blade, The Last Minute, and then League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
But so Guillermo del Toro
Toro.
says this about the second one, and they don't say this about the first one, but because of that director's history and where like he's basically a nobody.
Okay.
But Guillermo del Toro does say this is that the reason these two movies are so good is because of Wesley Snipes.
Yes, 100%.
And even Guillermo del Toro says that he goes, I let Wesley Snipes have so much creative input in this.
Yes.
Because he knew the character and was so serious about the character.
And, you know, honestly, some of the actors have said that during their time filming each movie, they never met Wesley Snipes.
Oh, yeah.
They only met Blade.
Well, yeah. Especially in the third one.
And the third one, that's a whole different thing.
It turns out he was atrocious to work with.
Yes.
Like on set.
But also the third one was plagued with problems from the studio and the director. So a lot of it is Wesley Snipes just not liking what was happening.
Well, this is
we're talking about Blade 2.
Well, no, I think out of all three of the Blade movies, I think it's almost like a Kanye kind of situation where there's clearly someone who is brilliant and like gets it and is doing it right, but is also like a little crazy. And the more time that goes on, the more the crazy comes out. So by the time the third Blade movie came out, it was just so much crazy. But the crazy was still present in Blade 1 and 2 also.
It was.
But he was just brilliant. And he was good at what he did.
I hate the Kanye reference so much right now. But I get what you're saying. But okay, so anyways, Blade 2, the reason why is Guillermo del Toro, the one thing that dude does well is weird horror,
creatures
right? Creatures and just disgusting, like Pan's Labyrinth, right? Like, oh my gosh.
Have you seen his new thing on Netflix?
The Pinocchio?
No, it's his Cabinet of Curiosities.
Oh no, Puck actually just told me he started watching it. I need to start watching it.
I watched the first episode and it's like, okay, this is Guillermo del Toro. It's all about the monsters.
It's 100%. I mean, both Hellboys.
Yes.
As well.
Oh,
so
yes.
Guillermo del Toro, love him. And that's what they did is they made it a lot more like freaky, especially with the new monsters, the Reapers. Like the way that their bottom half jaw
opens up.
It's
the vagina mouth.
Oh god,
they even said that.
Yeah,
like his vagina, and it actually kind of looks like a. And then their tongue is like it becomes a tube kind of thing, like a tentacle. Like it's creepy, man. Like it's like ugh.
But one of the other reasons why is this movie still knew what it was. It was still a Blade movie.
Yep.
But when they started to introduce character development and like story arcs with characters, it did not overtake. It was still short and simple and to the point.
Yeah.
Like every single scene. So Nissa was the vampire princess.
Yes.
Which is kind of like Wesley Snipes' Blade's love interest. They definitely, there's a connection.
Yeah, but they didn't overdo it.
They didn't overdo it.
Yeah.
But there's a whole scene where she's talking to him and is like, hey, like, you might think you're better than us, but you're still a vampire. You're still part of us.
Yeah.
And you are essentially hunting your own kind.
Yeah.
And there's like a moment of realism where like Wesley Snipes or Blade, has to like come to terms with that because he's being told that.
Because he is a hybrid and he is violent. I mean, he kills people too, you know? I mean, because we didn't talk about that in the first one, but that's part of the world building too, is the familiars. And they have tattoos. They have tattoos.
But he only kills familiars.
Yeah, he doesn't kill like regular humans. No. Well, he fucks up the police in the third movie.
Yeah, but the police are working for the vampires.
Yeah. Plus, you know, I mean,
it's also the third movie.
Yeah. It's the third. But my point is, I get that. And what's interesting about the second movie is where they take the story is, you know, in the first one, it's just straightforward. I'm the monster to vampires and I hunt them down and they're trying to resurrect the god, but I stop them. You know, in this one, it's now there are vampires. The Reapers are another level of vampires.
Yeah.
And they're hunting vampires and they need Blade's help to stop because so it's like you team up with your enemies to stop an even greater enemy. And he has that team, what do they call them? The Night Stalkers?
Oh,
that was the third one.
That's a third one. That's a trivia question of mine.
Okay. And it's the team that has specifically trained
Do you remember what they're called?
The Night Stalkers were the ones in the third one.
Yeah, that's the humans that hunt vampires.
I'll remember it by time.
Okay,
trivia.
all right.
But they were specifically trained to hunt down Blade, and now he's working with them to hunt these Reapers, and that's a cool little twist to it.
Yeah, so you got
But other than that, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. It's the same. It's just, you're just killing vampires. It's just like, it keeps doing what we love.
And I love it too. Like, obviously, like there's some issues with the action in this movie because CGI. This movie is 4 years after the first one, so 2002 is when this one came out. So CGI in that time got so much better. So they tried to introduce a lot more CGI into the action, which I kind of was meh. But even then, though, there's so much real action in it that's so good.
Oh yeah,
like when the two vampire ninjas get into the lair.
I was about to say we need to talk
and
about the
Blade
ninjas.
goes and fights both of them.
Yes,
that is, and there's like the lights behind them.
Yes,
and it's just like the shadow silhouettes. Like when the action was real, that was cool. There's a couple parts where it's just CGI, and you can tell it's CGI.
Yeah,
but when the action was real, and like it's really Wesley Snipes doing the shit, it looks so clean and crisp.
Yes, yeah, and what this movie gets right about, and they do it in the first one also, is he moves silently.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean completely silent, and he'll do the disappearing. And this is what they need to do this in Batman. They get the whole like Batman disappears silently when you're looking away, but no, he also appears like you need to get him moving around, because you see these ninjas moving around through Blade's lair, and they're swinging across the ceiling completely silent.
Yep.
But you also see Wesley Snipes will like step into a scene silently, or fall down from the ceiling and then stand up completely. And it's so cool. And those two ninjas, their design, first of all, they looked cool. The way they moved silently was so fucking cool. And then the fight scene between the two of them and Blade was just so cool, man.
And it's great. And so then all of a sudden they like realize like, hey, we actually are here on a peace like treaty. Like, we need your help. Because the reason is, it's not just that the Reapers are killing and turning vampires into Reapers, is they're also hunting humans, and their thirst knew no bounds.
Yeah,
like they're just always hungry.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. So it's like the vampires had a system. And you see that because Blade all of a sudden gets to go into the true underworld of the vampires and see it at a closer level he's never had, like the blood banks and stuff like that.
Yeah, and their parties and
all that stuff.
There's rules to it, whereas the Reapers are just monsters.
Yes.
And the design, the vampire design is so cool. Those Reapers are so cool, man.
And when you said it, when like he first meets like the special forces, the Green Berets of the vampires that were there to train and kill Blade, that's such a cool scene when it's just the world's biggest dick measuring contest between Ron Perlman, because of course it's a Guillermo del Toro movie. Ron Perlman has to be in it, and he's Reinhardt, and he like walks up. He's a leader of the group. I'm not trying to say the name because I want to keep the trivia question.
Yeah,
unless you have it in your notes. He walks up to him and he's like, "We just have one question for you. Can you blush?" Which is a very racist thing to say.
So I didn't know that
to an African American.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I had read about it.
And this actually did happen.
That actually happened to Wesley Snipes, where it was like a neo-Nazi dude, because it was a whole like, "Hey, you have black skin. Can you blush?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Dang, dude, like that's not cool." And then Wesley Snipes just fucks him up
and puts a bomb in the back of his head.
And he goes, "Now you got a bomb in the back of your head." Oh my gosh, dude. These lines, and that's another thing. He's got so many great one-liners in this. And then they're not cringy at all. They're wonderful.
And so Reinhardt, Ron Perlman's character originally was supposed to be a vampire that worked for the Nazis.
Really?
Yeah. So there was this whole thing, but Guillermo del Toro's like, "That's a little much.
Let's
just dial that back." But I mean, he's still such an asshole.
He is. He's just an asshole in this movie. But that's what's great is like Blade. It's the dick measuring thing between him and this team, but he always comes out on top. It's like, dude, and he's always like, "I'm always more badass than you, and there's nothing you can do." Like, it never because a lot of movies do this where they take the main character and make him the underdog. That's the thing about Blade is he's never the underdog. Nope. He's always the most badass guy in the room, and that's what you love about him. And if you had taken him, who is a badass, and that's his character, is badass, and if you had made him an underdog in any way, you would have totally ruined the character.
And they do this really well in like the next couple scenes where the vampire elite group is now taking orders from Blade, but they're still constantly thinking about killing him.
Yes.
So there's a scene where they're in a club, the techno music's going once again, it's all vampires, and Reinhardt, he's like, I could do it now and no one would know. And he pulls out his gun and has the laser pointer on it and points it at Blade, thinking that Blade's not paying attention.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden his right-hand man taps Reinhardt on the shoulder and points down, and then on his dick, his Blade is already trained with his gun.
And Blade doesn't move. He just has his arms crossed, but in his hand is his gun. And you don't notice it because it's so subtle, man.
It's so good. Because he's such a he already knows.
And so that scene where they're in that underground, it's like an underground church or something. That whole scene is just amazing.
Yeah.
All the fighting in that's my favorite part of the second movie. And then you have, and that's another thing we haven't mentioned is in this movie, the cast this movie
is insane.
That you have, like you said, Ron Perlman.
Yep.
We have Daryl from Walking Dead.
Yeah, Norman Reedus is Scud.
You have Donnie Yen,
who was also the stunt fight coordinator for this movie.
Donnie Yen, who is amazing in Ip Man. If you've never seen Ip Man, you got to see that. And you have Cat Williams is in this movie. And by Cat Williams, I mean one of the dudes on that team just looks exactly like Cat Williams. He's got like no name. But I saw that dude. I was like, is that Cat Williams? There's no way. But he looks just like him, man.
You mean Danny John Jules that plays Assad? One of the ninjas that comes up to
he's on the team, the vampire team. He looks just like Cat Williams, doesn't he? He's got the like cornrows and like he looks just like him. Come on, man, same facial hair and everything.
I plead the fifth in this moment.
Leave me hanging.
No, I'm leaving you hanging. But also, like, it has like some other great people in it too. So that we talked about Donnie Yen. Tony Curran is in it too. He plays Priest, one of the guys of the elite vampire group.
Yeah,
who went on to actually play one of the. He was in Underworld 2.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, he was like one of the like progenitor vampires in it. So he went from vampire to vampire.
Well, and of course Whistler is in this one also, and he's played by what's his name? Who's
Chris Christopherson.
Chris Christopherson, yeah. Who is a huge. He's just like a great redneck, kind of guy. Yeah, he's fantastic.
And then Matt Schulze, I don't know how to say his last name, who played the bad guy in Transporter.
Oh, okay,
and I believe was also in the first Fast and Furious.
Yeah. But either way, like this movie is so good, and even when you get into there's like you get more into like the vampire underground. There's a hierarchy, so there's not a council in this one, but there is a vampire who's kind of like a prince or like a king of the vampires or whatever.
Damaskinos.
Yeah, and he looks like Nosferatu.
Yeah, he does.
But in even his lair that you're in, it's this underground brickwork arches. Like it just, again, they do such a great design of making you feel like there's something ancient and evil living just beneath the surface. It's
kind of monolithic looking.
Yes.
And yeah, it's great. And like Damaskinos, you end up finding out, created the Reapers, Nomak.
Yeah.
The first Reaper.
And it just got out of control.
Out of his DNA.
Yeah.
He was like trying to figure out how to evolve vampires.
Yeah.
To be daywalkers. To be Blade.
Yeah.
So the whole entire point was these Reapers, they're immune to silver. They had like hardened bones around their heart.
Oh yeah.
But the only thing was daylight. They still were hurt by daylight.
So nothing killed them except daylight.
Yeah.
Which was, they made him even worse than regular.
And
vampires.
Damaskinos that's what the whole entire point is. So Nomak is on a revenge against his father for creating him.
Yeah, which is cool. Like there's a cool thing there where like the Nosferatu vampire, like his son is the main villain and his daughter she's on the anti-Blade team.
Yep.
Who is Nissa, his kind of love interest. So there's some cool angles there. Like but in the end, Blade is still like, I love it how they still didn't like make a truce with the vampires. Like they didn't make the vampires good guys.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
They were still evil.
Like, no, dude, you're still a fucking vampire. Like we're still going to kill you all. All right. You eat humans.
And one of the crazy things about this movie is, I can't remember what, but Wesley Snipes was double booked. So there was a lot of scenes where there was a stand-in. And they just never
shot from behind.
Yeah. And you never see his face. So I brought up the scene where Nissa watches Blade use his serum to not have to deal with the thirst.
Oh, yeah.
And she's talking to him.
Yeah.
And he replies back, Wesley Snipes is not in that scene.
What?
Yeah. But the dude that they found from like a kind of behind side profile looked just like Cat Williams.
Just a body. Oh, it's Cat Williams. That's what it was. I look like everybody. Keep it dry, bitches. Keep it dry.
I think it's trivia time.
We're not going to talk about Blade Trinity.
God, do we have to?
We have to talk about Blade Trinity. Ryan Reynolds is in it. Jessica Biel is in it. Patton Oswalt.
Triple H is in it.
Triple H is in it. What's her name? What's the woman's name?
Trivia time is in it. It's trivia time. Hey,
Okay,
Puck.
hold on.
It's trivia time.
All right, fine. If you want to go trivia, that's fine. But I got to tell you this one thing. There's just one thing. All right, about Blade Trinity.
Okay.
All right, and this is my favorite thing about all of Blade Trinity. Okay,
because I feel like I'm in bonus banter and just going to turn off the microphones.
No, don't. So, like I told you, Wesley Snipes, I feel, was kind of like a Kanye, where he was brilliant, but he increasingly got crazy.
How about like Robert Downey Jr. pre-Iron Man? Can we use someone else besides Kanye?
Yeah, I'm not trying to be controversial.
I just don't. As a Jew, I just don't like Kanye.
I get it, but just someone, like someone who's really
a prima donna.
Yeah, but like the crazy genius, right? Like, and he just in the third movie,
the guy that played Joker.
Yeah. Heath Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
No, the new one, the terrible one.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so and by the third movie, he was batshit insane.
Oh yeah,
and he was just doing crazy, and it is perfectly embodied in this one thing. There's this scene, and I thought it was in the movie, but it's actually a deleted scene, and I think it's deleted for this reason, where he's laying on the bed. It's at the end of the movie. It's after the FBI had captured him, and he had defeated the bad guy, and the FBI had captured him, and he's laying, and he's in their headquarters or whatever, and he's unconscious, right? And they roll him out, and his eyes are closed, and all of a sudden he wakes up and just beats the hell out of him and escapes, right? And that's the whole scene.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in that scene, Wesley Snipes refused to open his eyes. He's laying down on this gurney, and he starts punching and fighting with the guys. And so, like, the director's like, look, you have to, like, you pop your eyes open and then you fight. That's the dramatic moment. And Wesley Snipes like, no, I'm not going to do it that way. I want to do it with my eyes closed because that makes it even more badass. And the guy's like, no, you pop your eyes open. And they were fighting. They hated each other so much. Like, he was like, he even choked the director. He, like, physically assaulted him.
Yeah.
But anyways, so the director is finally like, you know what? Fine. Do it your way, Wesley. So in the scene, like, and afterwards, they CGI'd eyeballs onto him, where his eyes pop open. They're CGI eyes, where Wesley Snipes refused to open his eyes. But when you watch it, it's just a split second. But it's so clearly CGI.
I gotta see this.
It's like, these are not real eyes.
Is it like Henry Cavill's mouth?
Yes, that's exactly what it reminded me of. But it just so perfectly embodies the insanity of that movie, man. He wouldn't open his fucking eyes.
There's so many issues. Okay, so first of all, it's just not a good movie.
It's not.
The writing, the storyline,
everything about Dracula is so stupid.
Yeah, he like wears a cross around his neck. He like walks around the city, but they do CGI backgrounds.
He looks like he's wearing leather pants and like bracelets and necklaces. He looks like he's going clubbing.
Look, all right. Hot Topic has already based a lot off Blade. It was now like fan service. Like, hey, here's $1,000. Go shopping at Hot Topic. That's going to be Dracula's outfit.
And Ryan Reynolds is in there to be Ryan Reynolds.
Yep.
And Jessica Biel is in there to be sexy. And
a
that's
badass.
All. Yeah, and she's a badass. But like, she has a shower scene.
Yep.
Like, no one else has a shower scene. Why are we showing her in the shower? And it's just showing her body. Like, she's clearly there just to be sexy.
Just sex appeal.
And Ryan Reynolds is just there to run his mouth off.
And also be sex appeal.
I mean, they're both like good at what they do, right? She's beautiful and she's a badass. And he is hilarious.
Yes, he is.
But it just doesn't work, man.
It is so bad. The action in it isn't good. They got away from the clean martial arts style that they've been doing, and there's a lot of quick cuts. Triple H, I love you as a wrestler. You have no right to be in a movie acting.
And the vampire headquarters at the end of the movie, because each movie you go to a vampire headquarters and it's really cool. But except in this one, if you notice this, I don't know if you noticed while you're watching it, it's entirely made of glass.
Yeah.
It's entirely, it's like open sunlight everywhere,
Right.
man.
And
this makes no sense.
And this started to broach into where it's like, oh, the vampires have like bought the government.
Yeah,
Like
which is a cool idea.
Yeah, they have like some police, like high up policemen on their payroll.
Well, Blade gets arrested. That's cool, you know.
And there's like all I was like, oh, cool. They're starting to show a little bit more of how the vampires
and they go nowhere with it. He gets arrested by the FBI. He breaks out, and then they never talk about that plot line again.
And at the end, Drac.
Oh my gosh,
Dracula.
Fucking call him Drac or Drake or whatever.
Drake. It's Drake.
Like,
they call him
Drake.
Drake.
Yeah.
He goes, he's fighting Blade. Blade wins, and he goes, "You're the only one who's fought with honor. Let me give you one last gift."
Yeah.
And it's because Dracula apparently has the power of shape shifting.
Yeah.
He shapeshifts into Blade to make them think that Blade died.
Yeah. Yeah, because that makes so much sense. That makes so much. That's the scene that was cut.
Yeah,
because in the other one, they actually capture Blade.
Yeah,
and he wakes up and
no,
fights
he doesn't.
his way out.
No, he fights with his eyes closed.
With his eyes closed.
Yeah. He uses echolocation like Morpheus.
Yeah.
And
so Patton Oswalt, he's actually done interviews where he talks about this.
Oh, really?
Where he talks about how Wesley Snipes just refused to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
He literally would not talk to anyone. And whenever he had something to say, he would write it on Post-it notes.
Yeah, I heard about this.
He was crazy. I mean, he's an insane genius, man.
But what was the girl's name?
Jessica Biel.
No, the head vampire chick in this one.
Oh, that's who I couldn't remember her name earlier. She was in Superman Returns, I remember. But I cannot remember this woman's name.
Why is she not even in top build? What the fuck is going on?
Oh, she Parker Posey.
Yes, it is Parker Posey.
And she's awesome.
She's awesome. Not in this movie though.
Yeah, she's a great actress.
Also,
she's just dumb.
I'm gonna rage right now.
Do it.
Okay, Blade 1 and 2. Vampires have fangs, easily talk, no issue.
Yeah.
Doesn't even bulge, like make their mouth protrude like their lips out or anything like that. Both movies, totally fine. Blade 3 comes around. Blade Trinity,
Yeah.
comes around, and every single vampire talks with a fucking lisp.
With that big teeth.
Because they put in like big teeth. Oh, I don't think the moviegoers know the difference between a human and a vampire. Oh, I don't know. Is it the one that Blade is killing? Obviously, that's a fucking vampire. I don't need bigger fangs to know if it's a vampire or not.
I love how like when they walk into the FBI to pick up Blade after you'd been arrested, and it's this group of vampires pretending to be like government agents or whatever, and they go to the front desk and they all like smile at this front desk, and they have these giant fucking vampire fangs.
And even Triple H's character, he's like bedazzled his fucking fangs.
If I was the receptionist at an FBI headquarters and I saw that, I'd be like, "You guys look like fucking vampires. What's up with your teeth, man? All of you guys. That's so obvious."
All right, here we go. Out of 5 stars, Blade 1.
Ooh, Blade 1. I'm gonna give it. So this is totally biased. I gotta give this bad boy a 4.5.
I'm right there. I'm 4.5. Blade 2.
Blade 2. I'm gonna give it a solid 4.
4.6, just because I think it's better.
Okay, that's fair.
And Blade Trinity.
Blade Trinity is not good. It's I don't know. I'd give it like a 1.5, 2 out of 5.
If I could I go in like how far in the negative stars could I go?
You got to give it at least 1 star.
No,
that's how the system works.
This isn't like the racism joke that we. It's like it's minimum. It's a 1 out of 5 stars. It works. I can't go lower than 1 star. If you don't know what that is, go back and listen to Hammered and Helios. That's a joke we did on Hammered and Helios. It's from like a TV show. I can't remember what it is. But if I could, I would give Blade Trinity -5 million stars.
Yeah, not a great one.
Yeah,
not a great one.
It's trivia time.
Well, Brando, my reign was over, and you did beat me last week.
Dude, I'm proud of last week. I had some good trivia, man.
You did have some really good trivia. Also, a lot of people are asking why the episode was so long. Because we decided to give you guys bonus banter for free that week. That's what I'm gonna say, and that's the story, Brando. That is the story, Brando.
From my perspective, why the episode was so long is because you just didn't tell us to stop. Because I don't know. I have no idea how long we talked.
No.
If you weren't sitting in that chair saying, "Hey, it's time to go to trivia," I would just keep going all night.
Well, okay, so I'll be full blown honest. I was out drinking before that episode. I had an event, and it was fun. So I was feeling good. I was feeling toasty. We were drinking with it during the episode, and also like I just loved gushing about those movies because we can't. Anyways,
it was fun.
Yeah, we talked about it last night.
Well, we put the bonus
or last
banter
week.
on
Yeah.
it,
So you're lucky. I was a little drunk and forgot to edit the bonus banter out. So there it is.
but I won. So
You did win.
that's the importance.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd forget. All right, you ready for me to spin this?
All right, ready to go now.
Here we go.
What does that say?
I have Whitney Houston.
What? Oh,
I got to do Whitney Houston.
Oh, here we go.
God.
Oh,
okay.
I love this.
All right, for reference,
You got to sing it.
that's I have to do this. All right. Oh, God damn it. All right. And I will always love you. How was that? Was that Whitney Houston level?
That was
Whitney, call me up.
That was
Call me up.
Beautiful.
Call me up. Is she alive still? I don't know. Did Whitney Houston die?
I actually don't know.
Whitney Houston.
It's just, oh man. Oh, and that should be one of the trivia questions.
Oh, yeah, she died in 2012.
Oh,
Whoever has the rights to Whitney Houston, call me up.
yeah.
I'll double
the
in.
Houston estate.
I look just like her too,
You too.
because I am Cat Williams.
You look just like Cat Williams. That dude does look like Cat Williams. Watch that movie and tell me
All right.
you didn't do a double take.
So, anyways, because I lost, I'll ask the first question.
I have 5 questions.
I have 5 questions.
Okay,
too.
cool.
All right. When Wesley Snipes was first approached to do this movie, he tried to convince the studio to do another superhero movie. What superhero movie was it?
Oh, another superhero movie.
Yes.
Is it a Marvel?
It is another Marvel, yeah. So he was told that they were making a superhero movie and they wanted him, and he's like, "Oh, so it's going to be this?" And they said, "No, it's got to be Blade."
Is it Black Panther?
It is Black Panther.
Oh,
Because honestly, Wesley Snipes said he never heard of Blade, read up on Blade.
Oh, wow.
And as well, like, Blade and Black Panther both came out of like the blaxploitation era
Yeah,
of
yeah.
things. So he was like, well, like Black Panther's actually like a lot more popular.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Can you imagine that 90s version of all these Marvel characters if we had seen that late? Like if they had done Black
Would
Panther
Jay-Z be doing the soundtrack?
Yeah, I know,
We'd
right?
be big pimpin' spins and
Yeah, I
G's.
feel like they'd work it in somehow. All right. Okay, so David Goyer wrote the first 2 Blade movies.
Okay.
And he directed Blade Trinity.
Oh.
All right, his name is David Goyer.
Mm-hmm.
He also wrote which other major, massive superhero movie? And I have actually 3 to choose from. If you mention any one of these, but he also wrote another superhero movie, and it was also huge.
It was huge. David Goyer.
Mm-hmm, David Goyer.
And he wrote 3?
Well, he wrote 3 of them, but one in particular was just very huge.
Was just very huge.
I mean, they're all big, but one in particular was.
So, like, when you say he was the writer.
Yeah, the writer, and he actually might have written more than 3, but I have
Okay.
these are the 3 that I immediately knew about.
Oh, Blade 1.
No, I said that. I said
Blade 2.
You're gonna say Blade 3 next?
No, I'm not going to say Blade 3 because that doesn't exist in my
Blade
mind.
Trinity. What other superhero movie did he?
X-Men?
Massive. No, not X-Men.
Okay, what was it?
The Dark Knight.
Shit, seriously?
He wrote The Dark Knight. Yes.
Wow.
He also wrote Batman Begins and Man of Steel.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. All right. All
Yeah.
right.
Isn't that
That's a good one.
crazy?
All right, Brando. In Blade 2, what was the name of the Vampire Elite Special Forces team that was created to specifically hunt and kill Blade?
I think I remember it.
Okay.
I think I do remember it.
All right.
Is it the Blood Pact?
It is the Blood Pact.
Yes! Yes! I'm so glad I remember that.
All right.
'Cause
2-0.
Okay, because I didn't have them in my notes. Okay, here's a crazy one. Here's a really crazy one. All right. It's from the first movie. Okay.
Okay.
What's Blade's real name?
Oh shit!
And they do mention it.
They
in
do
the
mention
first,
it.
Someone calls him by his first name, and then his mother has a last name.
Dude, you can give me 18 hours to think of
I
this,
know.
and I would
I knew I was
never
gonna
know.
asshole.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. It's a
Yeah.
tough one.
Brandon Jacobs.
Yes, that's actually
Cat Williams.
It's actually Kanye West.
God damn it. I'm deducting a point.
No, it's Eric Brooks.
Oh, yeah, it is. Okay.
That's his
okay.
name. So at one point in it, someone calls him Eric.
Okay.
I think it was Deacon who calls him Eric, and his mother's last name is
name's
Brooks.
Brooks,
So,
okay.
yeah.
The iconic opening scene of Blade has that amazing song.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That song is a remix of what famous song?
It's a remix.
It's a remix.
No.
Mhm.
Shit, dude.
It is a remix.
Oh man. Oh man. Is it Night at the Roxbury?
No, it is Confusion by New Order.
This is the song?
This is the remix. This is a song they remixed. You can hear it, right? Like you can it
I can't hear it at all.
Okay, well let me
I mean I can hear it, but I can't.
Yeah, then it's Nope, that's not it. Is it this one? Oh, there it is.
Ooh, that opening scene, dude.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. But yeah. Okay.
Oh, can you play that for the rest of the trivia? Are we gonna get like copyright?
Yeah, we get copyright infringement.
All right, here we go. In the Blade Trilogy,
Okay.
one character never takes their sunglasses off. Which character is it? They never do, not one single time.
And they're in all three movies?
No, they're in one of the movies.
Okay. Dude, we didn't even talk about in the second Blade movie, right after he kills Reinhardt, Whistler throws him the sunglasses from the second level, and without even looking, he just catches it and puts it on. Oh, it's so good.
It's cool, man. It's cool.
In one of the movies.
Yeah. This character's in one of the movies, and they never take their sunglasses.
Oh, it's Reinhardt. It's Ron
It's
Perlman.
Reinhardt!
Yeah.
It's Ron Perlman.
It's Ron
Reinhardt.
Perlman.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. 2-1.
Nice.
Okay. You asked me a character's real name, so I'm going to ask you a character's real name.
Oh, no.
Scud in Blade 2
Oh, shit.
does give his real name when he's talking to Whistler.
Right at the beginning, I remember when he introduces, yeah.
Mhm. What is Scud's real name?
Is it, is his first name Scott?
No.
Oh, geez.
No, it is just Josh. He just says my real name's Josh.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I
That's
thought
it.
it was related to Scott in some way.
Nope.
Okay.
All right, sorry.
Woo! All right. Okay, here we go. Blade 2
Okay.
was originally going to have a different villain. Which other Marvel character was going to be the villain of Blade 2?
Oh, interesting. I actually don't know this, so do you hear did you hear that beat?
I heard that
Okay,
click,
that's
yeah.
what the beat I was talking about. Anyways, what other Marvel villain? Was it going to be Morpheus?
You said the name wrong, but Morbius. Yeah, I know.
It's Morbin time.
It's
All right,
Morbin
it's
time.
Morbin time.
Yes, it was going to be Morbius.
Yeah, I was like, it has to be another vampire. I was going to say Craven, but Craven's not a vampire. But yeah, okay.
The fucking
It's
Morbius-
Morbin time.
The Morbius movie. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
goddamn. Okay. It's tied 2-2 right now.
What's his
so here
name?
we
Who
go.
plays him? He played the fucking Joker.
Yeah,
also.
that's the Joker that I was talking about. The lead singer of what's that?
30 Seconds to
Mars.
Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I can't think of his
Guillermo
name.
del Toro
Yeah.
absolutely loves
Wait, who was it again?
Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo del Toro.
Okay.
Guillermo del Toro.
It is hard to say.
Del Toro, GDT, as his friends call him,
Scud.
loves Ron Perlman.
All right.
And they have worked on 10 films together. Name 5 of the 10 movies that Ron Perlman has made with GDT. That's
wow.
even hard to say, GDT.
Can I count Blade 2 as one of them?
Yep, you can
Okay.
count Blade 2 as one of them.
The 2 Hellboy
Yep,
movies?
there's 3. And that I was going to say 4, but because there's 3 gimmies, I was like, the other 2 can be hard to actually get.
Guillermo del Toro. Pan's Labyrinth?
No.
Oh.
But I'll let you. There's a lot of options here.
Okay, this is Guillermo del Toro.
Mhm. I'll give you. That is your lifeline.
Okay. The what was the one with the underwater monster where she fell in love with him?
Shape of Water?
The Shape of Water.
No. Ron Perlman's not in that. All right. So there's Blade, Hellboy 1 and 2. Then there's actually a couple Hellboy animated movies that Ron Perlman was the voice of Hellboy for, and Guillermo del Toro was a creative producer on.
Okay.
But wasn't the director. So those count. Then there's Book of Life, Pinocchio, which is a new one that's about to come out. Nightmare Alley, Pacific Rim Job.
Wait. Nightmare Alley?
Mm-hmm. It came out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Pacific Rim Job. And then Guillermo del Toro's one of his first movies is called Kronos, which is actually a vampire movie we almost talked about, which is Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez, dang it.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
This is the tiebreaker, 2-2.
Okay.
So if I get it right, I get the point. If I get it wrong, you get the point.
Okay.
So because there's no ties in Banter and Such.
All right.
Hold on. For the last, I need something to hype me up.
Let's get hype. Get hype. All right. Woo! How can that not make you hype?
I know.
Listen
All right.
to that.
Go ahead. Ask it.
All right. In which Blade movie is the main villain killed by Blade's blade?
It's Blade 2 because the first one is the serum that the doctor created.
Yes.
Then the third one, I don't know.
It's the virus.
It's the virus.
And in the second one, it's the sword.
Because it gets broken off and then he stabs it into his side.
Woo!
Yeah.
Good job,
Okay.
Play some victory music.
There we go. All right. How about this?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
That's.
You hear it now, though.
I still don't hear
Okay.
it.
Well, aren't you a drummer?
I am. I
So-
mean, there's
Okay.
a beat.
All right. Yeah, there's a beat.
That's all I
Well,
hear.
Brando, I have once again reclaimed my reign. You got 2, I got 3, and for a total of 27-29.
Yeah, you did amazing.
Yeah,
you
thank
earned
you.
it.
Yeah.
You earned it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Are we closing out?
Yeah,
It was just
let's-
us, man.
Yeah, it's just us.
It was just us. Check us out online. What do I gotta say? It's been awesome. But yeah, check us out online. Check us out on the socials. We're gonna put up a video. First of all, please check out our socials because we put up our costumes for
Yes.
October. We wore costumes every week, except for the last one.
Yeah, because I don't know. It was just
But
it just
yeah.
felt like a little weird for 2 guys to be dressed up like witches. I'm not gonna lie.
So, but yeah, check out our. I'm reading your part, but that's okay. Check out our Instagram. Check out our Patreon. All the links are in the notes below in the show description. You just tap on them and take it right there.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking things up.
I can say it if you want.
Yeah, keep going.
And we're proud members of the Helios Network, a collection of great podcasts made by regular people. You can check out theheliosnetwork.com to see other amazing podcasts like...
I mean, we got Wasted Truth. We got I'll Be Careful, You'll Be Dead. And, of course, we talked a little bit about Master and Debaters.
Master and Debaters is our new one.
And, yeah.
It's launching soon. It
yeah.
is so funny. It's so
So you've
funny.
heard him before, but Puck, Alex, and Spencer, who have all been on Banter Such and Wasted Truth, it's just they're 3 best friends, so they just get together and fucking argue. It's soft topics, hard opinions. Brando, you were on an episode where you got to argue is a hot dog a sandwich,
I did.
or is coffee bean soup?
When you take technical definitions and you push them to their limits, it changes everything.
Yes. Next week, we're getting into the season of family.
Yes, it's all about family.
It's all about family because it's Thanksgiving and, it's a holidays and you want to spend a time with your family. So we're going to talk about the most family,
Yeah.
wholesome
What movie series
franchise
is more about
ever
family?
than Fast and the Furious.
Fast and the Furious, baby.
And we have a very special guest. It's going to be our first time ever having a guest calling in.
Yes.
And it's going to be Nick from the Tabletop Podcast.
Ooh, we're going to introduce you to Nick. We're going to introduce you to Tabletop. Those guys over there, they do a great show.
Mhm.
It's going to be awesome.
And I
I
can't
love
wait.
you all. I'm Brando.
And I'm Owen.
And until next time, may your week be filled with BS.
I'm kidding. No. Cue the music. Okay, Corn.
Not a. I was gonna say you're not a Corn fan. My daddy touched me. I have problems from childhood that I need to go to counseling for instead of write music.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I liked Corn. I was a huge Corn fan.
I mean, everything has its place. Anyways, Brando, whenever you're ready.